Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for our EV Charging Basics workshop. Let's go ahead and get started. On our Go EV staff is me, myself, and I, Irvin Rivero, e-mobility associate, and Jackie Espejo Vera. She's the beneficial electrification manager. And here's a brief introduction to Actera if you don't know about our nonprofit. We're based in Palo Alto with a mission to bring people together to create local solutions for a healthy planet. And our focus is in addressing climate change while advancing equity. And we serve the 9 counties around the San Francisco Bay Area. And specifically, the Carl Go EV program was first started in 2018 to honor the local legend Carl Knapp, who was a longtime Stanford professor, renewable energy expert, and Earth champion. And for many years, Carl promoted the merits of electric vehicles to his students and his colleagues at Stanford University. And now Actera carries on his legacy through the Carl Go EV program. And make sure to visit our website for more information on other electric vehicle events we have upcoming in 2024. And it's also good to know about some of the other things that we work on, such as EV consultations, our advocacy efforts, and our collection of EV ambassadors that help us put on some great in-person EV expos. So all of that can be found on our website. And before we dive into the specifics of EV charging, I'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight and for this workshop, the city of Sunnyvale. And we'll hear a little bit about what they have to say about some resources for EV charging. In specific, they are their clean energy provider is Silicon Valley Clean Energy, and they have some assistance for single family homes looking to install EV charging. So there's some websites on the screen there for Grid Shift. It's an app that can help you save money while you are charging. EV Assistant can help you find the right electric vehicle and some rebates. And then for multifamily housing, Future Fit Assist will help install EV chargers in your multifamily housing. So this is a grant for up to 45,000, and they also have some technical assistance for the planning and the installation of that. And then Sunnyvale also invites you guys to their next Ride and Drive event, Saturday, May 18th from 11 to 3 p.m. At the Baylands Park in Sunnyvale. And so this is a great event if you want to get behind the wheel of an electric vehicle and test drive how an electric vehicle handles. So you'll get to drive some EVs at this event. Please register with the bit.ly link on the screen, and we'd love to see you there, test drive some electric vehicles. So thank you for the city of Sunnyvale. Now let's go over some of the most compelling benefits to driving an electric vehicle. There is, of course, the enjoyable driving experience, which means a smoother ride, better safety features, and a much quieter ride. There's also lower maintenance costs associated with electric vehicles. EV owners will spend half as much as gas car owners over the lifetime of their car. And there is also zero emissions when driving your electric vehicle, depending on where you get the energy to charge your car. But here in California, we get, for the most part, our energy from clean, renewable energy sources through our community choice aggregators. So in Sunnyvale, you have Silicon Valley Clean Energy, San Jose, you have San Jose Clean Energy, and so on. And so the energy is going to be delivered through PG&E power lines in some cities, but in some other ones, they have their own power lines. So you know you're going to be charging your car with clean energy. And then there's also lower fuel costs associated with fueling up your electric vehicle or charging, depending on how and where you charge, because electricity is going to be always cheaper than the price of gas. And another benefit is having access to the HOV lane, where you can travel in the carpool lane as a single passenger. And so if you buy a new electric vehicle, make sure you take advantage of this benefit, as the program will end in September of 2025 for everyone. And so now let's get into the EV fueling costs. EV charging costs are significantly less than gas. Even electricity that is labeled as expensive can be less than the price of gas. And we can compare the price of charging your EV versus the price of gas by looking at how much you spend per mile. And so if you charge your EV at home, you pay 30 cents per kilowatt, which is about 10 cents per mile. And PG&E can come in as low as 8 cents per mile. And the only exception is if you're going to be um, publicly charging your electric vehicle. And this is going to vary on the price. It can vary from 10 cents per mile all the way up to 30 cents per mile. Um, and looking at the equivalent of a gas car, um, it can be anywhere from 24 cents a mile. So you're going to be saving a lot of money when you're charging your EV at home with the low electricity rates. And some of the factors that are going to affect the mileage or the range that you get from your electric vehicle are going to be like the temperature inside and outside of the electric vehicle. So if you're running the AC or the heater, you're going to be using a lot of the battery. Um, and of course, your speed. So if you're in an electric vehicle, um, try not to drive super fast. And there's actually um, the highway mileage is going to be worse for an electric vehicle than for a gas car. So it's the opposite for a gas car. When you're driving on the highway, you get better mileage per gallon on the highway. In an EV, you're actually going to get worse mileage on the highway. EV range is also going to be affected by the aerodynamics. So this is why some electric vehicles look different than other normal cars. This is because the designers of the electric vehicles are trying to get the least resistance coefficient and improve the aerodynamics so that you can get more range and cut through the air more smoother. And lastly, it's how fast you drive. So if you are driving with a heavy foot on the gas pedal, you are going to be using more of the battery. And so I know electric vehicles have instant torque. You want to go fast, but sometimes you'll get more range out of the battery if you accelerate slower. And different charging levels, there's going to be 3 different ones: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is going to be from your typical electrical plug, the 120 volt, which is usually running on a 15 to 30 amp circuit. And this can provide you 1.4 kilowatt an hour of energy per every hour you're charging. And so you can think of a kilowatt hour as equivalent to a gallon of fuel. And so, for example, if you have a Tesla Model 3, these EVs have a 75 kilowatt hour battery or equivalent to a 75-gallon fuel tank. And so if you're charging at 1.4 gallons every hour, it's going to take you a long time to refill that 75-gallon fuel tank. And so it's going to take you about 10 hours of charging to do 20 to 50 miles of range. And the average commute is around 40 miles. So this is going to be enough for some people to be relying on a level 1 charging level. And then moving on to level 2, which is much faster because it comes with a 240 volt, typically associated with a 30 amp circuit, but it can go all the way up to 60. And they require a dedicated 240 volt circuit, which is going to be hardwired or plug-in. And some houses already have a 240 volt circuit that is what you plug in your dryer outlet into. So sometimes it can be combined to be used as a dryer and a EV charger. So contact your electrician about more details on that. And here is the different types of circuit sizes that your level 2 charger can be hooked up to. So it can be hooked up to a 60 amp circuit, but typical is 30 amp circuit connected to the 240 volt. Um, and so if you're connected to a 30 amp circuit, it can provide you up to 22 miles of range per hour. Um, so it can provide you from anywhere to 5 all the way up to 44 miles per hour, depending on what circuit size or amps you're connected to, and also how efficient your electric vehicle is at accepting the electricity into the battery. Then we also have the level 3 charger. This is the fastest level of charging that is available, and it's only available out in the public. So no one can install this at their house. This is going to be able to provide you with up to 1,000 miles of driving range every hour, and it reaches that for a brief period. But it typically takes you 20 to 30 minutes to provide a 80% status of charge. So it'll only take you 20 to 30 minutes to get up to 80%. And it's not always recommended that you use these DC fast chargers all the time, as it can typically lead to decreased battery life. So still try to rely on level 2 and level 1 charging as frequently as possible. And the different public charging networks that are out there are ChargePoint, EVgo, Electrify America, and Tesla Superchargers. And the Tesla Supercharger can provide up to 250 kilowatt at its peak, and Electrify America has up to 350 kilowatt at its peak. Some EVs are not going to utilize all of that electricity going into the battery, such as the Chevy Bolt. The Chevy Bolt peaks at 50 kilowatts of electricity going into the battery. And so picturing a kilowatt is a little bit difficult. Back in the day, we used to have 60-watt light bulbs. Now we have more efficient LED light bulbs. But imagine those 60-watt light bulbs that we used to have. 350 kilowatt is equal to 350 watts, which is equal to 5,833 60-watt light bulbs. So 350 kilowatts is going to be able to power 5,833 of those 60-watt light bulbs. So it's a lot of electricity. And so let's go through a scenario of if you're charging at home. For someone that does a 30-mile daily round trip commute, and you have an EV charging rate of 24 cents per kilowatt hour, to recharge those 30 miles, it's gonna require 10 kilowatt hour of energy. So on a level 1 charger, this can take you approximately 7 hours. On a level 2 charger, it can take you less than 2 hours. And if you're comparing that to a gas car, equivalent of 30 miles, that can be $6 for that trip, or it can be $2.40 from the charging cost. Now, if someone does a 200-mile trip, it's going to require 67 kilowatt hour of energy. This can take you 45 hours on a level 1 charger, 9.3 hours on a level 2 charger, and the cost associated with that, it can be $16 for charging, or $44 for the gas equivalent. So you're going to be saving around $30 each 200 miles that you drive, approximately. And so installing a level 2 charger, you're gonna have to hire an electrician to do this installation. They'll look at the installation location that can be near where you park your car. The electrician is going to have to install the wiring and the conduit. It's going to require a city permit and inspection to complete. And they'll also calculate your electrical load that is going to your panel to determine if there's enough ample space for more electricity. And so this is a example of a Tesla Model 3. The EV charger goes in on the back left of the electric vehicle. And so installing the EV charger anywhere in the left side of the car is the most appropriate, and you would not install it in where this space is blank. That would be really hard to maneuver the wire to be um, to be charging your electric vehicle. So you need the EV charger to be installed somewhere within these parameters. And if you have a different electric vehicle with it on the right side, then it would be somewhere on the right side. So installing a level 2 charger, there's many charger options that are available out there. There's some universal ones like ChargePoint, Wallbox, Bosch, Flow, or any car branded level 2 charger. Teslas can charge from any of those universal chargers with an adapter. And the longest length that is allowed by the national code is 25 feet. So be careful, be conscious of where you're going to install this and measure it out to make sure it's no longer than 25 feet. And some of the costs associated with installing a level 2 charger, you can be expected to pay around $3,000 on average for a level 2 charger. And that's the average cost in 2021. This company had a lowest installation price of $890, and their highest project was around $20,000. This cost is included with the permit cost, which is on average $260. Um, it also included the cost of the EV charger itself when it was needed. So those usually can be $500 to $700. It includes all of the infrastructure upgrade costs when needed, such as installing a panel upgrade, installing a smart panel. Smart panels can be very costly, hence why that person had to pay $20,000. And there can also be an installation of an automatic load management device. And so really just ask yourself how much you would spend for a private gas pump at your home. It's going to be a $3,000 investment that you're going to be making into the environment for your convenience and for a lower transportation cost. So this can provide you for charging your electric vehicle at 70% off what usually is the price of gas. And so you're going to be paying $1.30 versus $4.40 per gallon equivalent. And there, of course, there are some rebates and grants to offset some of those costs. There's a federal tax credit that can give you up to $1,000 off of the purchase or the installation of the level 2 charger on your property. The city of Palo Alto also provides some grants for schools, nonprofit, and multifamily dwelling property owners who wants to install EV chargers. Then the city of Santa Clara provides single-family residents with a rebate of up to $1,000, and also for those property owners of schools, nonprofits, and multifamily dwellings can get up to $5,000 per EV charger installed. And if you live in the city of Alameda, they can provide you with $800 per EV charger installed in your property. And if you want to know more, or I didn't cover your city, go to this website on the screen at the bottom, www.electricforall. You enter your zip code, and it'll give you all of the rebate information that is available in where you live. And now some PG&E rate plans. Of course, there's the time of use. So try not to charge your electric vehicle from 4 to 9. That is when you have a higher price per kilowatt hour used. But there's also some EV rate plans that you can switch over to when you're planning to use your electricity at home to charge your electric vehicle. You can get a much cheaper price per kilowatt hour used during the overnight hours. So, look into that if you are going to be using a level 2 charger in your home frequently. And there are some options for apartment dwellers or condo dwellers. AB 2565 is a bill that was passed where landlords must approve a renter's request to install a level 2 charger in multifamily dwellings. And so your request must be made in writing. You must pay for all of the costs associated with the installation unless the landlord agrees to pay for it. Some of the rules are the multifamily dwelling must include 5 or more parking spots for everyone. And as long as the multifamily dwelling um, doesn't have 10% of the parking spots have chargers already, you can request this. And there are some other options like a smart outlet that your property owner can install. And these allow you to pay for the electricity usage that you're using to charge your electric vehicle. And they will charge you for it, but it keeps track of how much electricity you're taking. So it's a great option. Talk to your landlord about those smart outlets. And then there's also a concierge service. So if you are out of charge somewhere, anywhere, they will dispatch someone with a portable battery to recharge your electric vehicle at a fast rate. And then, of course, there's also public charging all over the United States. And a great app to download is PlugShare. PlugShare is going to be able to give you all of the EV chargers in your area. And of course, some of the charging networks are Electrify America, Tesla Superchargers, ChargePoint, and EVgo. And some of the information on these is that the app that I mentioned, PlugShare, it can give you great information on all of the EV chargers in the area, including the charging speed, the charging costs associated with it. You can filter any type of specific charger that you need. So all of these are different connectors that can be found in public. So if you have the Tesla charging port, you would filter it by only the EV chargers that have Tesla. Or if you have CCS, then you would filter that out. And so if you're going to be using public charging a lot, it is recommended that you download some of those apps to show the compatible chargers nearby. Make sure you configure your car, your app, and payment options before you really need to go and charge for that first time. Some of the networks, they will need a form of payment, a barcode, some type of phone agreement, phone app download, some type of wireless registration, or with the Tesla supercharger, it'll auto sense your vehicle, but you'll have to attach a form of payment with that. And then there's different charging options. Here in California, you will be charged by the kilowatt hour. But if you charge somewhere else in another state, they will probably charge you by the hour, where electricity can't be sold. And not all public chargers are going to be working properly, so just be prepared for some EV public chargers might be down. And some of the feature capabilities of EV chargers or EVs. So EVs are going to be able to charge your house or provide electricity to your house. And so this is the case with the F-150 Lightning on their most expensive trim model. You can use your car battery connected to your house. And in case of a blackout, you can still power your fridge, power your stove, power your chargers, anything, your TV. And there's also going to be some integration with home appliances, such as your solar, your HVAC, and your water heater. And EV chargers are going to have even faster charging capability. Battery longevity is going to be better in the long run in the newer EVs coming out. And there's going to be a faster acceptance of the electricity into the battery. So Some EVs are going to be able to charge really fast at the DC fast chargers. And of course, we have some of these EVs already out on the EV market, such as the F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T, and the Cybertruck. So more pickup trucks coming out in the future. And so some of the highlights of this workshop is that electric vehicles are no longer a gimmick. They are doing really cool stuff, coming out with new technology. The benefits are substantial. There's lower operating costs associated. There's a better driving experience, and it's overall better for the environment. And some of the inconveniences are rapidly disappearing. We're seeing longer ranges on electric vehicles, easier charging in public, better charging networks, and a lot of different options for different budgets on choosing an electric vehicle. And so if you live in the city of San Mateo County or the city of Los Banos, you are eligible for this rebate. Income qualifying residents can get up to $2,000 towards the purchase of a used electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid. This rebate can be combined with the federal used vehicle tax credit from the IRS and the pre-owned electric vehicle rebate program for PG&E. So they can also be combined with any other available incentive out there, as long as you're buying a used electric vehicle. This program is from Peninsula Clean Energy, and you can find more information on their website. And we also have an upcoming electric vehicle financial incentive clinic on April 16th, where we will be covering the many benefits of driving electric and all of those other incentives that are out there that can help you go electric while possibly saving thousands of dollars when purchasing an electric vehicle. And that concludes our EV charging workshops basics workshop. Thank you for attending, and we hope to see you at a future event. Thank you.